2,000 gold, man. That's got to be 2,000 gold, brother. Yep. That's got to be 2K gold. Oh, man. We'll take it. No mage and everything, dude. That's what it is. Good duel, man. Dude, he actually paid. I'm not gonna lie, I did not think he was gonna pay 2K gold, but he did. Hats off to Anvils for the duel. That's actually mad respect. Mad respect. He wants to do another skirm for 100 gold. Okay. Respect for Anvils. Went for the try and kept his word. Yeah, actually, straight up, I think a lot of people wouldn't have. Why are you contracting all this shit? We're doing a 100 gold duel, so I want to make sure we got it clean, you know? Want to make sure we got this. That 2K gold could have been a GDKP item. True. I might spend it on a GDKP item later. We'll see. I do think Skull of Gul'dan will probably go for about 30K gold, so 20 or 30K. Okay. Okay. Escape artist again, solid. Escape artist a third time. Nice. Man, he blinked my CS. That's really well. Really well played there. He's just turtling for more escape artists. Another escape artist. Oh my gosh. What's the fucking CD on that thing? Oh my goodness gracious, man. What a duel. Still in my belt, though. Keeping the belt in the back pocket, all right? Oh, man. Oh. A little scary, not gonna lie. Little scary, dude.
Yeah, we already
quite a bit. What have you kind of been up to in the Burning Crusade?
I mean, myself personally, I've been playing everything in the game in my guild.
Lock Priest that Peekaboo was talking about. Very explosive match, and this is going to be our first game to kick off the Classic Arena tournament.
I don't think anyone was expecting Mir to be the first elimination round of the day, so that already is speaking to the level of intensity in this tournament, as we see Dawood trying to find the rogue in stealth with Blizzard and making sure to stay back, but Mirlal has dodged the blizzards and moves in, and they're going to be opening up on the priest healer Random Dog for now. Cheap shot into Garou, but holding on to the kidney shot until afterwards. Gets Frostnova out of range, decides to go for an all-in here with the Cloak of Shadows, really sticking it to the healer. Kidney shot, paint suppression preemptively on the stun. Nice play by Random Dog, soaking up a lot of damage. Mir's going to vanish out and go for an all-in. Mortal Coil out, huge pressure. Mir gets peeled away by Brutal at 10% health. Random Dog barely survives, skirting around the corner. Mir gets stunned on his trinket. Beautiful punish, but Random Dog is still getting smacked around by Tazar. Tazar might be able to kill him here. There's a Shadow Fiend chasing him down. Mir just needs to reconnect. He gets spell locked. Beautiful spell lock timing here. Random Dog has just been running for his life this entire game, but he's been doing a great job of avoiding Mir so far.
Yeah, definitely here, and Random Dog still a lot of pressure coming out on him. Full blind here on his rogue, no trinket, no Cloak of Shadows. This rogue could be in big trouble here. They need to get some dispels here onto Mirlal. He wants to open up on that rogue. There's a gouge. He's looking for the kidney shot. Maybe doesn't have enough combo points to go for it just yet. Sadly for We Love Cats, they overlap that death code with the cheap shot of Mirlal there. Otherwise, they might have actually killed that priest right there in the opener. Here's the kidney shot. Mirlal's going all in right now. Big damage coming out. Can he get something here onto Random Dog? He's trying to keep him alive with the prayer of pending bounce. There's a Shadow Ward Death coming out, and there's the big kidney shot there onto Mir. Can he survive though? He's not going to be able to do it. The dots are too strong here from Tazar, and We Love Cats are going to take game number one.
Yeah, definitely a really explosive game early on. I mean, if you just take a look at the mana bars for almost both priests. I mean, Uzbeki was completely out of mana. The mage on Poland Mountain had no mana left, so really just shows you how close this match is and how intense it is as well, Peekaboo.
Yeah, after watching that matchup, I didn't expect it. I mean, this must be so stressful to play. I mean, their first series of the day, there's a big names coming out of the gates here, and honestly, everyone's out of mana at the very end. It always just comes down to these last couple auto attacks. You're just really hoping that the other rogue's cheat death is not going to be super high value and that your 5-stack wounds, you don't get a lot of resist. And I was pretty surprised to see the back and forth there, but luckily it looks like a pretty good start for We Love Cats.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you could see the all-in as well from the Roguelock Priest. I mean, Zuko, you can kind of talk to us about this a little bit, but it seems so scary for the Priest at the beginning when Mir's just spamming out all of his cooldowns. He's maintaining the stuns. He's stacking up wound poison. He's getting the Garrote out. But the thing about the Burning Crusade is their cooldowns, they have such a long cooldown. So once those are gone, it becomes really, really difficult to actually stick on a target. And that's where we kind of saw the Rogue Mage Priest kind of fight back in the match.
Yeah, definitely. It was really good positioning, honestly, from the Priest for Poland Mountain. He had good positioning there after he escaped, and he was able to keep himself topped and just line of sight near, never let him reconnect on him. But unfortunately for him, they were already super behind. He had to use his trinket. He had to use his pain suppression as well just to stay alive. And it's like you said, it is scary if you are that Priest. We Love Cats. They have a very all-in strategy there on the Priest. They go for the cheap shot into the Vanish Garrote, and they drop that Expose armor. And then Mir is just on the Priest, stacking up his wound poison. And then when the lock can get there, that's when they drop the kidney into the Death Coil, and they try to close out the match. So we can probably expect them to see something similar from We Love Cats. And honestly, for Poland Mountain, I think they would be better off playing Dwarf Priest in this matchup, or playing Alliance in this matchup in general.
That's one thing we haven't really talked about so far in this tournament is we're actually on a tournament realm. So these people are not playing on their live characters. They have a tournament realm. They can play any class that they want. There's tons of different gear available, and it's unlike kind of any tournament we've seen so far with the community events, because the community events, players haven't had access to full resilience super teas. Do you think that's kind of going to shift what compositions we see strong? Because it really did feel like what Peekaboo said, where with the low resilience, rogue teams and they're all in rushdown seems super strong. But do you think there's going to be opportunities for other compositions now?
I mean, it's possible. I think that actually I think it limits the comps. I think with lower resilience, like hunters are more viable, but now with higher resilience, you can survive the bestial wraths. I think there's not a single hunter in the top 8, for example. But if you play on ladder right now, where gear is quite difficult to get, or at least resilience is difficult to get, hunters are just kind of controlling everything. So definitely resilience and endurance levels of the characters is going to change some of the meta. So like something like a rogue mage priest that needs to work on bursting a target down is probably weaker in this situation than the warlock. But it seems like there's still possibilities for both teams. Runes of Lordaeron was selected here by Poland Mountain, so they likely want to utilize the mage more here and remove options for line of sight and kind of gain more access to polymorph as a threat. It didn't seem like DL was able to get very much in terms of that. They were mostly just focused on protecting their priest. They were playing like a really defense game. So as Rogue Mage Priest, I don't think that's what you want to be doing. You don't want to be playing defense the whole time. You want to be the aggressor.
Yeah, I mean, we can't talk about an aggressive opener like that. I mean, Peekaboo, what do you want to see for Poland Mountain? Like, what kind of adjustments do you think they could make to maybe put the momentum in their favor a little bit better?
So this is a kind of a rough matchup. I think it's not a guaranteed win for either side. I've played both ends of this, and it seems like one of the big changes here on the TR is all that extra resilience. So I'm not sure how much these teams have had a chance to play with all this new gear, because even seeing We Love Cat strategy, they were able to train Random Dog from Poland Mountain for a large majority of the game and actually end up switching targets, which is something on the live servers, it doesn't really happen very often. You usually just train one guy down. Maybe Poland Mountain, they might try, because it seems like such a rush down matchup. It feels like the opener is so important for them, and maybe they can get a lucky sap onto Mir out of stealth or something, or if they're able to find Mir in stealth, I think that would be a huge advantage at the start. Otherwise, it seems like there's a lot of options. I haven't played too much Rogue Mage, but it seems like I can just hear people telling me, okay, we could try to open Priest, we could try to start Lock, or best case scenario, you find the Rogue out of stealth, and then when you find the Rogue out of stealth, that opens up a whole different level of options. You can either go the Rogue, or it's easier to train the Priest, because sap is 10 seconds long, and that 10 seconds feels like an eternity if you're the one stuck in it and watching your team get 3v1 by a Rogue Mage Priest. So I'd say just the opener is going to be super important for them, and hopefully they can find me on a stealth or get a strong opener on the Priest or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Zico kind of mentioned it already. I mean, Poland Mountain, they do have the option if they wanted to play Alliance. So, you know, if they are kind of reliant on getting that sap for their initial momentum, you know, Rutel playing a human rogue might help them a lot. As well, Random Dog, he could play Dwarf. That stone form's super powerful against all the, you know, bleeds and poisons that the rogue has available. You can remove the 5-stack wound off yourself and heal yourself up really, really quickly. But at the same time, then you're getting chain feared by a warlock and a priest, which could be very devastating, Zico.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it really comes down to that. I feel like if you are human, the warlock's rogue, so Mir, he's going to have paranoia on his side, which is a buff that the pet has, which increases your stealth detection. So if no rogue is human, Mir has the advantage. He will be more likely to find the other rogue. So that means that the RMP rogue has to be the one who kind of opens first, which is also not ideal because then he can get opened on, or they can see that he opened maybe on the warlock and just safely go for that priest strategy again. So for them, I think being human definitely would help a lot. But even if they don't go human, I think from the RMP, I just want to see them go for Uzbeki on that priest or go for the warlock, get an early blind onto Uzbeki, get a cheap shot into Gouge, into a kidney shot or something, and try to take down the warlock with that crowd control.
Yeah, we're going on to Ruins of Lordaeron, Game 2. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, all these series are going to be a best of 5. This is an elimination series as well. So the loser of this is going to be eliminated from the tournament.
Ooh.
And we actually have the action starting off right away here, Sid.
They're going right after Uzbeki here in game number 2. The Rogue Mage Priest trying to get aggressive. Mir peers away. Rutel, he's not able to connect. Caught in a kidney shot. Dawid off-kicked as well. Mir taking complete control of the initial stages of this round. But Rudel with a nice trade on evasion and a Frost Nova is reducing a lot of damage. And it looks like they're going after each other's rogues. Mir is now the target. Will he survive the lockdown? A death coil comes up from Tazar onto Rutel as a peel into spam fear at the moment. But Rutel is going to be able to use Will to Forsaken. Try and get back on target. Looks like Mir was able to evasion potential stuns. Now Shadow stepping behind Rutel to stun lock him up and getting medallions from the rogue. A very important cooldown out of the way. Uzbeki moves in for a Psychic Scream. Not able to find it though onto Random Dog here as both priests are on top of each other. Curious to see if any of them go for mana burns. Likely just purging down buffs and trying to strip down any sort of advantages they'd have in that regard. Mir stunned up. That's going to be the medallion out from Mir. Now both teams incredibly limited. Random Dog trading out pain suppression. This one is coming down to the wire.
Yeah, and the wire is very close here. Random Dog's mana is not looking too good right now. He did use his Shadow Fiend right there, but it did get banished. No, actually, the banish is on that Water Elemental. And we're going to see here Brutal getting actually fully feared. He has no Will of the Second. He does get dispelled, though. Nicely done there by Random Dog. They're going to reconvene here on Tazar behind the pillar. Merlot has no trinket, so he's just in stealth, waiting for his stun DRs. And here we go. Cheap shot into kidney shot. Do they have a spell lock here for Random Dog? I don't think they need it. They're just going to spell lock him and get that Shadow Word Death, get that cheap shot kidney, and that was so excellent there from Mir. He got he knew he had to use his trinket there before when he got stunned. He got the counter stun on the rogue, and then he just sat in stealth, waited for his DRs, did it again.
Yeah, I mean, Peekaboo, how does it feel to be the rogue that's just sitting in stealth? The enemy rogue, you know, he's got no trinket, he's got nothing, and you're just waiting to pounce.
Man, Mir is so smooth in the arena. I swear, in times where things get really hectic, just the fact that he was able to hold his cooldowns, because especially in a rogue versus rogue matchup, the most important thing is being able to get back in stealth to land the pre-med cheap shot on your kill target, because otherwise it's very difficult to actually build enough comp points for the kidney. And if you're a rogue and you eat cheap kidney with wound and everyone else is attacking you, eventually if you have no evasion or cloak, it's just the end of the game for you. So I'm sure Mir was very happy with the last 10 seconds when he had all the time in the world to set that up, and especially because it's hard to get knocked out of stealth too, because the rogue can't Fanonize you. I mean, you'd have to get AoE'd by the priest, which would be, obviously pretty much impossible at that point in the game. So very well done by him, holding the trinket as well, because you don't want to ever use any defensive cooldown out of line with your teammates, because that's a very quick way to lose. And yeah, overall solid game. That looked like a pretty commanding game for him.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the one thing we have to mention about We Love Cats again is I feel like going into this tournament, this team was one of the favorites. I mean, they have a lot of experience in the Burning Crusade, big name players. Mir's kind of made a name for himself in the Burning Crusade. So I think this team was very surprised to find themselves in that lower bracket, which also means it's kind of a nightmare, Zico, for the other teams that have to go against them in these elimination games.
Yeah, I mean, ideally you would want and We Love Cats to kind of, be on opposite sides of that upper bracket, but now they are, on a collision course to eat everything that drops down in that lower bracket, just feast on it, and then eventually go head to head there. So It's going to be a very, very competitive time down there. But, you know, we've been talking a lot about those, about the teams down there. There's some excellent teams as well in the upper bracket, those Warrior Lock Druid teams, especially the team with Genghis in it. I'm looking forward to their matches as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm really excited. I mean, that's one of the things about the European region as well, is when you compare them to the North American bracket, I feel like there's a little bit more diversity. I mean, we have a shadow play, so the Shadow Priest, Warlock, Shaman. Really excited to see that one play out. Really aggressive composition. We have a Mage Lock Shaman as well. So yeah, those Resto Shamans, it's very all in with the Bloodlust, but can be very effective, just spam purging a target, and really looking forward to seeing those games later. But now kind of focusing on this series once again, we're going back to Ruins of Lordaeron. So Poland Mountain, they were able to choose the map that they want to go to between Blade's Edge Mountain, the Grand Arena, and Ruins of Lordaeron. They've opted for Ruins of Lordaeron twice. Sid, why do you think we're going to this kind of map with no line of sight?
Well, I mean, it's almost kind of BM in a way, right? Like Poland Mountain locked us in as their best map, and now We Love Cats. Or actually, Poland Mountain, are they able to lock? I guess they are. They did lock the same map twice, having lost it now. So they still want maybe just no pillars. They think that being able to polymorph is going to be more important, but it's just so tough when you've got the Warlock that can remove polymorph, and you have the Priest as well. You're really only going to win, I think, in your spell locks. It's just a spell lock kidney shot cross and try and burst somebody down. But at the start of the game, attacking a Warlock with an absorb shield, not really the best target. You're having a tough time finding Mir, so he's not really a target initially, so they're really stuck just going after Uzbeki and trying to do a Priest all in. But Tazar and Mir are more than ready, right? Like Mir was ready, waiting just for Rutel to come out of stealth, and then immediately was cooldowns from Poland Mountain. So it seems like We Love Cats just have good defense. They're doing a great job of deflecting and then just turning the game on its head in their favor. So Poland Mountain need to figure out how to kind of get through that. You guys have been saying it all along, switching over to Alliance, getting the advantages of perception. To try and find stealth targets like Mir a little bit easier, and then also getting Stoneform as a backup in case they tunnel your Priest. But maybe they are worried about getting feared. It seems like having the will for a fear and then still having your medallion for a stun is crucial for just getting uptime, right? If we see Rutel feared on a go and he doesn't have will because he's playing human and he just sits a full fear, then they've just lost a kidney shot, and it seems like every kidney shot is very important.
Yeah, every single kidney shot is absolutely devastating if everyone can connect. But for Poland Mountain, it is do or die at this point. They are down 2 points. They have to win this one if they want to stay in this tournament. We Love Cats right now. They're looking calm, cool, collected. Very good in this match. I feel like for Poland Mountain, they have to play aggressive. I mean, with that Mage versus the Warlock in this particular matchup, the Rogue Mage Priest, they really have to be the aggressors if they want to win this one.
Yeah, and the game's already started here. We got Tazar in a Frost Nova. They're going to go after Uzbeki here. He's in a Frost Nova. It's not breaking just yet. That way, they're doing a good job here with the damage. It goes for the polymorph onto Mir. They got a full kidney here. Uzbeki actually forced to shrink it out here before the blind happens. So if they can get another kidney here, they could potentially take down Uzbeki, or they could blind Uzbeki and go after Mirlol here. I would actually like to see them do just that. You can see already Brutal opening up onto Mirlol there with the Shadow Step, but Mirlol gets the first cheap shot here. Brutal's still trying to build up those combo points. He dodges the kidney right there with the evasion, gets a kidney shot onto Mir. His mage is shattering him, but he wants to go back over onto Uzbeki. Uzbeki now with the pain suppression here onto himself. That way he's also going to exit the ice block here. And this game looks very good so far for the RMP, but they don't have pain suppression, so Brutal could definitely just die in a cheap shot kidney if they can land a spell lock on Random Dog.
Ooh, double psychic scream.
Go ahead.
Uzbeki in the kidney shot. 2 targets, low health at this point. It's a little bit unprecedented for the Rogue Mage, or for the Rogue Lock to fall behind on pressure. 3 targets low. Tazar needs to life tap as well. That's going to cost even more health. Uzbeki's praying to the Prayer of Mending to recover here on his team. If the Rogue Mage Priest can stay aggressive here, they're on match point. They need to find a kill. If they want to stay in the tournament, can they ride the gas pedal down? Uzbeki escapes around the pillar, catches a flash heal, but his teammates are still low. Double Psychic Scream. They're pushing for the Shatter combo. Uzbeki dispels it instantly here, dodges the Cone of Cold, and barely stays alive. Clutch plays from Uzbeki, but he's still not safe.
This is very sketchy for We Love Cats here, but they're looking to turn it around. Full kidney shot onto Rudel here. Is there any CC onto Random Dog to follow it up? Looks like the 5-stack wounds are doing it so much right now. Dawi doing everything he can to try to shut down Uzbek. Mirlal caught in that kidney. Rudel full blind set. He might go down there so low. Cheat death. Not doing anything for him in that situation.
That can be done. But for Poland Mountain. Unfortunately, they are going to be eliminated from the tournament. However, I would say that that was probably their best game. I really like the fact that they went after the Priest a little bit more, tried to put the pressure down in that regard with the Water Elemental and the Icy Fanes, but unfortunately, We Love Cats were able to deflect, and they will be advancing through this lower bracket.
Absolutely crazy stuff from We Love Cats, and I mean it's just kind of the expected result, right? I mean these guys are the favorites heading into the tournament. They're in the lower bracket, and it's kind of we're expecting them to kind of redeem themselves today and make it to Championship Sunday.
Yeah, and they're looking on fire so far, but that's going to conclude our first series. We can kind of take a look at our next series as well. Another really, really big name team. We have Ha 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 with Chaz and their RMP. I mean, this is another one of those teams you really wouldn't expect to be in that lower bracket. We just saw an RMP fall. We'll have to see if Ha 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 and Chaz are going to be able to perform. They're going up against a really, really solid team. So yeah, that will be our next matchup. But yeah, that first matchup of the day, super exciting, seeing the Rogue Mage Priest versus the Roguelock Priest. I mean, Peekaboo was talking about both those compositions, how aggressive they really can be with that Rogue. And I'm curious to see, I mean, Rogues have kind of been the name of the game in Burning Crusade so far. Everyone's talking about Rogues and how powerful they are. I'm curious to see if any of these teams are going to be able to contest them in this tournament, Super T's.
I feel like a lot of the spell cleaves might have a little bit of a number for them, and also we haven't seen any warriors yet, right? As TBC moves on, I feel like everybody talks about warriors later on in TBC. So in this early stage, are they able to still put up a fight? I know a lot of people, myself included, are still a bit salty about getting mace stunned. So I mean, get a couple good stun procs, and suddenly a warrior can just smash a rogue. You got overpower to get through all of the evasions. So I mean, the one warrior I think in the tournament on Genghis's team could definitely shake things up.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm excited to see that as well. I mean, shout out to Sidu, but yeah, he had some unfortunate base stuns heading his way. He definitely wasn't too happy about. But that's one of the things about the Burning Crusade compared to Retail WoW is there are these kind of random elements like mace stun, improved hamstring, how effective critical strikes can be, resists. All these things can impact the way a game plays out, but the teams that kind of rise to the occasion are the ones that can kind of adapt during those situations and can stay consistent regardless.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little hesitant to jump in on certain things because there's so much little things in TDC that matters, and the way the meta works and the way matchups work, that I'm really trying to focus in and see what these teams are doing and trying to learn something. And yeah, like you said, being able to adapt to current situations. And I think one of the biggest things on why teams might be a little unsure of their strategies that they've tried for so long is because of that extra resilience. I think that adds a layer of, man, if they're not at a certain HP threshold, people are more confident to fight back and get more aggressive when usually people be on the back foot running. And I think things like that have a huge impact in the game because especially in these arenas, one mistake or one wrong move or one bad cooldown usage, it seems like it punishes you a lot more than it would in Retail WoW. So these teams are super trying to figure things out because there's not much room for error. There's no real room for anything like that. So I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, Mace Stuns. I feel like Mace Stun honestly has a higher proc chance than it says because it seems like it's every other auto attack as well. I don't know if you guys died to that a lot, but that's what Warriors seem like. I've lost so many 1v1 versus Warriors, and I'm watching it. I'd like to see how some other people try to deal with that class if they're throwing off shivs with the crippling, or I don't know if some of these rogues are doing 3 weapon swaps with the shivs. I'm not quite sure, but I'll definitely be able to see it soon if we see the matchup. So I'm excited for something like that.
Yeah, and that is going to conclude our first series of the day. Our next series is going to be S Priest Clicker versus Ha Ha Ha, but we will be going to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Here there. What's in there? What's on your mind? Be good.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to start another explosive series. The last one, we just saw a rogue lock priest, Mir, take down an RMP in a really, really dominant performance. This next series, we have another kind of Titan team, Chaz and their RMP. They're going to be going up against S-Priest Clicker, and we don't exactly know what S-Priest Clicker is going to be running. But Zico, how do you kind of feel like this matchup's going to be playing out?
Well, I think for the RMP, it's going to be go in, get aggressive, get the setups, get the trinkets, and win the game. I mean, RMP in general it's that kind of comp right now that you just win instantly. If you can land the CC and you can get crowd control on the trinkets as well, you're just in a great spot, you know. So I think some of the things that can slow that down, warlocks, stuff like that. So we're gonna see what S-Priest Clicker decides to go with. And then we'll have a better idea of how they can win.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those things where we're going to have to kind of wait and see. By the way, I kind of wanted to mention in the last game how the map picks work. So for the map picks today, essentially how it works in these best of fives is the first game will always be on the Grand Arena. In game number 2, the loser of the first game can pick any map that they want except Nagrand. So Game 2 can never be Nagrand Arena, but after that, it can just be Nagrand Arena, Nagrand Arena, Nagrand Arena if the teams want. So that's basically how it works. Always on Nagrand to start. Game 2, anything but Nagrand Arena, picked by the loser, and then from that point forward, the loser can pick literally any map that they want. So that's kind of how the map picks are going to be played out here. Once again, we are on a tournament realm as well. These teams only have 3 players on them, which is something a little bit different than the AWC. Normally have a 4-player roster. So if these teams do want to run multiple compositions, we're going to have to see them basically set up multiple characters and play those roles themselves, Subatis.
Yeah, I'm curious if we do see any multi-classing. I feel like it's unlikely. I think maybe we talked about it before the show started. It might be 1 player potentially multi-classing, but I would imagine most of these teams are going to be playing the one comp that they've come with to the tournament throughout the entire thing. So they're going to have to make it work no matter what here. We've got mysterious newcomers, S-Priest Clicker coming in here against which is, again, one of the top dogs of the tournament that's already in the lower bracket. So some of these newcomers can definitely put on a show. I actually was very impressed with Poland Mountain putting up such a fight against a team that was kind of expected to win the whole thing here. But here we go. Avizura, Chaz, laners lined up on that Rogue Mage Priest, and it is going to be a Mir, but a Shadow Priest Mir. Evolve with silence on his frame here is playing a very aggressive variant of Priest, and I am a bit curious to see how this works for them. I don't remember the last time I saw a Shadow Priest RMP into a standard RMP.
Yeah, this is going to be crazy. This is the first time we see a triple DPS here in the tournament. Avizura lands the sap here onto Teddy's. What are they going to do with this? Teddy's has the perception of he's a human rogue. We got 2 humans here, but Avizura is just going to open up here onto Teddy's. Evolve, what is he going to do? He gets sheeped. He trinkets out of the sheep. He could get fully blinded here. He tried to def it. Avizura holding it for a little bit, though. Kidney shot comes out onto Teddy's. Into another cheap shot. Into another full blind on Evolve. And that is just going to be the game, just as predicted. Playing RMP, you can just go in and win in the opener.
I love that victory, The icon is so diabolical. Yeah, Peekaboo, so far you've been really spot on with the composition predictions, I must say.
Wow, it looks like Rogue Mage is definitely not bad on here, but I've never seen a Priest come in with silence. What do they lose if they expect into silence? Do they lose
suppression?
Pain suppression, and they did die in 5 seconds.
Infusion too, but I have to look back at the frame. Wow. It's definitely pain suppression you lose.
That was an insane sap by Avizura. It looks like he got him from across the entire universe and sapped him too. It wasn't just a regular sap. Yeah,
I think we do.
That was. This is the worst feeling as a rogue. Is someone not only a sap, but a step sap. That is here it comes, right? And the second you saw it, you said the game was over. You said the game was over. I said
he's dead, and I was like, wait, he should have died there, and then he dies 3 seconds later.
That is horrendous. They got a huge opener here. It was insane. Yeah. And then Avizura starts the cheap vanish, and he uses evasion instantly, gets the re-kidney shot, and then at this point, Evolves has to use that trinket, gets caught into the full blind, and at this point, Teddy's can't do anything to survive because once you have all those bleeds on you anyways, you can't even vanish out. There's really there's nothing you can do. So it's just like, that's like the worst possible scenario. That was probably the last thing they ever thought would have happened when the gates opened. So, and it definitely showed.
Well, interestingly enough, in this matchup, both teams were playing Alliance. So we had two Alliance teams, both rogues pop Perception and just sprinted at each other. And luckily for Avizura, he is the one that came out ahead in that exchange. And I feel like if you're playing the Shadow RMP, falling behind that early on and getting sapped, I almost feel like it's almost an automatic loss, Ego.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're playing a triple DPS, your entire thing is we're going to go in and we're going to have so much damage in crowd control, we're just going to overwhelm you and win through every CD you have. Well, if you're starting out the game with your rogue out of stealth, getting stunned up and your priest in a sheep, not the best start for the game, not the best situation to try to, recover from. So you don't have pain suppression, you don't have any, big emergency cooldowns to help your rogue. So yeah, you're just going to have to play from ahead there. I think the rogue trinketed late the stun lock there, but I would have liked to see him just instantly trinket the kidney shot, vanish, try to reopen on Avizura, try to get his trinket, and then at least that way maybe you can get a blind and go after the priest or try to make something happen.
Yeah, and we'll have to see. I mean, that's the thing about the Burning Crusade is in some of these matchups, like it's one global, it's one decision that ends up winning and losing you the game. It's really, really quick. So at this point, Esprit Clicker, they probably can't afford to lose anymore, and I guess they are just going to be playing that Shadow Priest variant Priest and with the Rogue Mage. Really, really explosive composition, but I feel like they may have met their match here with Ha Ha Ha, especially if they're going to get found in stealth. So need to be very careful of that. Obviously, it's not something you can always control, but that initial momentum is going to be huge for Esprit Clicker Smithies.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they kind of just rode into the tournament here off the back of kind of surprise factors, if they've played Shadow the whole way through, or if they're worried like we won't stand a chance in a straight up mirror, so we need something that's a bit different to try and get an edge that way. But this is just incredibly risky. I think he is full Shadow. He's not just running kind of a silenced disc build. He had Shadow form. He had everything into Shadow. So he's like straight DPS. He's not going to be able to save the Rogue if the Rogue is ever caught in a situation like that whatsoever. So this entire game could come down to which Rogue can kind of NASCAR and draw first on finding a sap. Because if that was the other way around, where Avizura was in a sap and the Shadow Priest silence into a Mage silence, I mean, Avizura might just die outright in that combination. So this is going to be a very explosive series. Ha 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 looked like they were ready for it, though. Just knew exactly what they wanted to do. They didn't panic, because sometimes when the gate opens, you can't see what the other team is playing, which is a really big distinct feature of TBC comparatively to the retail game, is you don't know what's on the other side of the gate until it opens. So they only had like a couple of seconds maybe to plan for that and be like, oh, it's a Shadow Priest, this is what we need to do. And they were able to do that despite the kind of curveball that was thrown their way.
That's actually a really good point. And kind of an interesting point is when you're in the starter room, exactly like Super G said, you can't exactly see what teams you're going to be playing against. So when you see a team kind of just throw caution to the wind in the opener and sprint in on their mount, like the strategies that they come up with, Peekaboo, are quite often just kind of on the ball, and they kind of rely on that experience and the strategies that they built up in the past, because you really don't have a lot of time to talk about a game plan.
Yeah, those are, it might have looked like a really quick win, but those are really hard situations to play. If you get sapped out like that and you've experienced something like that, like I don't think they've ever played a matchup where Avizura lands a sap in the first 5 seconds, because if that has happened maybe a couple hundred times, the other team could figure out, okay, maybe I need to trinket and we got to trade cooldowns this way. And it's got to be all in that one global, like you were saying earlier. So especially, if you can't see what's going on the other side of the map, even people don't load it on your screen until you get close enough to them. So just getting caught off guard is actually a huge deal, especially in these super explosive matchups.
All right,
Yeah,
here we
no
go.
doubt about it.
Oh no, he got found again.
Oh,
Teddy's
no.
he's getting purged down. They need to get the power word shield here. How are they going to intercept? They panic. They silence laners. The mage, that's not going to do anything. Teddy's is locked down. Trinketing on 1%. Shadow stepping away to desperately stay alive at 10%. Cheap shot on his trinket. Avizura all over him, and he is absolutely smacked. Evolve cannot do anything. Complete control. Complete domination. Ha ha ha. Take game 2.
I think we're going to get a replay of that one.
Oh
I have
my
no
God.
doubt in my
That
mind
was
we're gonna see
brutal.
that one again.
Brutal.
Yeah,
You
it's looking
want
like
to
a
see it again?
repeat.
I don't think that Teddy's
That
wants
is-
to see it again. Maybe we
Yeah,
should.
Teddy's definitely
maybe we
doesn't,
shouldn't
but I
show
do.
it.
God.
we gotta. I think we gotta take a look. I mean, if we have an opportunity to see like what's going on with Avizura, like how is he able to just get these saps out of nowhere? I mean, obviously perception it's really powerful. So one of the things about Alliance and humans is they have a racial called perception, and allows them to basically see stealth targets a lot easier. So these rogues can find each other from like max shadow step range, and we could take a look at it here in the replay. Look at Avisura; he's just charging in and immediately gets the sap. It's actually almost unbelievable that he gets. He's
got the perfect line both games in a row. It's literally like they're both running the same. That's like really insane, actually, the timing on that. Man, it's just brutal. Just the priest evolved is just right on top of everyone. He only has one trinket, and there's so many different CCs that can be thrown out that are all instant. And he's got one shadow word death. That's just such a rough situation. I can't imagine what they're saying in Discord after that. Maybe they're saying, yo, maybe we sit back for a second. Maybe we try to run a different route. Let's go wide. Let's not go straight in, because they've lost the direct exchange now, pretty much in the worst way possible, because it's actually ended up in their death in the next 5 seconds. So that's rough to go down 2-0 in a series, but they're not out of it yet. And who knows, maybe if they get the sap, they could also do that to ha. We don't actually know yet, because they got a really aggressive build. They just have to try to get out of that first sap, because even if Teddy's trinkets that sap, it's virtually impossible to vanish, because Avisura is instantly putting up Rupture. He's garroting him, and with those 2 bleeds, there's no way the priest can get a shield on him, because he's getting all these instant silences and fear and blind and sheep's being casted. It's really a rough situation. So we just got to see Teddy's not get sapped like that, and then maybe we can see if they can actually turn it around.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're going to have to at this point. It's kind of do or die for them. They're on an elimination game. We're actually going to be going back to Negrand Arena, so maybe the aggressive Ruins of Elodoron, not necessarily the map that they wanted, but I'm curious to see like what target are we actually going to be seeing Esprit's Clicker go after in this matchup. I mean, they could potentially go for a priest all in with the silence, but with Stone Form, I feel like it's kind of unlikely. I feel like for them, they also have to go after the rogue here, Zico.
Yeah, but I think for them, they can only go after the rogue and the priest. I really think it all depends on what happens in the opener. If no rogue finds the other rogue and Avisura opens first, you can go for him. If you find Avisura and sap him, you can open on the rogue, or you can just sap him and instantly open on the priest. Go for those long CC chains with the silence, with the garrote, with the cheap shot kidney. And with the mage counterspell, you can stack all of that nothing DRs with each other, and you can get some big kills that way without the priest really being able to do too much about it. But it's like Pika said, man, they just got to get past phase number 1 to even have that as an option, because right now they're just getting sapped left and right and center. And yeah, we haven't even seen the tornado spawn one time yet on Negrand, actually. There's tornadoes.
It takes longer than 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's the thing. It takes a little while for them to spawn, and the game is over before them. But there is tornadoes here.
Okay.
It's just the nature of these two compositions, right? I mean, they're just so aggressive. They have a lot of cooldowns that they spam out, and that's kind of their win condition, is just winning during those cooldowns. So both teams are basically going berserk in the opener. And so far, Avisura and his Saps have led to a 2-0 up in the series. Esprit's Clicker, they're basically on match point. They need to win out at this point. Definitely not an easy thing to do, Supatis.
No, I don't think this is going to be an easy match for them, especially because they're all in, right? Like, we're seeing these games end ridiculously fast, but it's because they're not running with a healer. They have no defense. It's a Shadow Priest, so they're going to move in. Teddy's pre-vanishes to try and get extra enhanced stealth and not get sapped by Avisura, and he manages to navigate across the map and find a sap on Chaz. Gets found by a Frost Nova from laners. He's behind the pillar. Evolving Creature are trying to get up to support him here. They're going after laners. They can use Mass Dispel on the Ice Block, try and go for an all-in on the Mage. A Psychic Scream out of the sap. This is the best start that we have seen so far, but Avisura is patient in stealth. Here comes the first Ice Block. Evolve Mass Dispels it off, but Avisura is all over Teddy's. Target acquired, going after the road, but laners is getting shattered in the backline. Avisura gets polybuffed out of nowhere. Shadow Priest Clickers have done it, putting a point on the board and turning it around on match point. Now they just need to do it 2 more times.
Okay, so something absolutely devastating happened in that matchup where Teddy's actually trinketed out of the kidney shot. So he got cheap shot into a kidney shot, and he trinketed and blind missed. He popped evasion, but the blind missed. That would have been a full blind, and I almost guarantee laners would have been able to survive, but that's that kind of RNG. I mean, we're going to be able to see it in the replay, but this has to be absolutely heartbreaking for Avisura.
Yeah, and we can see it right here. Teddy's actually not getting a great opener here. I think he wanted to sap Chaz and maybe open on Chaz, but they decided to go after the mage here. Teddy's vanishes on the blink. Patience here is key for Teddy's, and now he's going to open up. Chaz still in a fear. He gets immediately stun locked. He's going to trinket this kidney right here, and he's going to trinket, pop evasion, and there it is, a blind miss. And then he goes in and he tries to get that kill. And Chess a little bit too late with that pain suppression, unfortunately for him. And also, since he's a dwarf, he had to sit that full fear right there. So, it shows you the benefits of the dwarf, but also the downsides of the dwarf.
Yeah, what a kind of a, I mean, Peekaboo, you can kind of talk to us a little bit about this, but we saw laners actually with a bit of a strategy change at the beginning of the game. We called out that pre-vanish seemed to really pay off for them.
Yeah, that was. I am actually so shocked that they won that. That looked horrible for them because Teddy's ran in and he pre-vanishes because it gives you the improved stealth, so he really didn't want to get sapped, which they lost both games because of that, so that makes sense. But so he goes in and then he saps the priest and gets Nova'd out. Worst case scenario, he gets a kin in the mage trinkets, and Teddy's used both vanishes before Avizura even came out of stealth. So usually if something like that happens, you would assume, okay, well, we've lost the game because how could we possibly kill? And then I didn't understand the strategy too. I'm like, why go for the mage who can ice block? But I guess they know a lot better than me because that looked so bad at the start, but they completely turned that around. And I think Creature, the mage